Hello and welcome to the Dead Air Dudes. I'm Izzy.
I'm Raka. Thanks all for joining us, Dead or Dudes Nation. As we wind down this 2022, we got some hard hitting news this time from both sides of the war, DC and Marvel. Big shakeups coming. Oh, tell us all about it.
Yeah, first we're gonna since we always give Marvel their due, good and bad, and we don't talk about DC as much, but in the recent days, about as far as what a week ago, there was a huge shakeup at Warner Discovery. Which, geez, I mean, we can get into that, which we will a little bit, but okay, now we all know that James Gunn and Peter Safran are now in charge of the DCeU. Okay, all right. When I say DCU, I mean the DC, the movies, So, all right. Now they want to do, as James Gunn is known for, the Guardians of the Galaxy series, and I guess they want to do like a Marvel light. This is just my opinion, of course, which is kind of obvious. They want to have a 10-year plan in which they want to focus on five characters. Okay. This was said by James Gunn in several reports: Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Harley Quinn, you know, and I do believe the last one was Aquaman, but I'm not sure on that. But we'll get back. We'll get back, back to you on that one.
Wait, so Green Lantern? No.
No, no. And the funny thing is that there was a Green Lantern show supposed to come on HBO Max, the Green Lantern Corps. Who the hell knows? There was supposed to be the only thing we do know that it is coming out on the wake of everything being canceled is the Penguin series. Colin Farrell's Penguin from the Batman is gonna come. It's gonna happen. As far as everything else, I mean, I don't even know what the future holds for Doom Patrol and Titans and all that stuff because it's all if it's too expensive, it's out. Warner Discovery, check this out. It's a little sidebar, but they canceled Westworld. Done.
Well, that was done. The last two seasons were
But not only
total
that,
disappointment,
but they're also taking it off the streaming service
which I don't understand.
because they don't want to pay residuals. Cast and crew went to everyone involved. So they're just taking off completely, and you're never gonna see it again. Raised by Wolves, another one. Deja, the Nevers, what they just canceled the other day, Love Life, and some other show, Minx. So everything that is not Sopranos and or Game of Thrones or is cheap to make and produce will be gone off that.
Is it gone, or is it available for pay per view service?
Oh well, of course we gotta pay. I mean,
Well, that's the thing. Like you said, if they don't want to pay the residuals, they're gonna make us pay for it.
of course. But the thing is, we're already paying for it.
I know. It's that begs the question: why do you have the service? I mean, not to go on a super tangent, but Amazon Prime, all those members, billions in the world, the membership prices, annual fees went up, and you have streaming stuff that just came out. You can watch it at home. You don't, we got used to remote and all this other stuff. It's $20. You know what? I'm gonna get two N95s and risk it and go to the movie theaters and pay $9.
Well, you don't pay $9.
Well, where you and I go, but we won't tell anybody.
Yes, yes. When we go, we pay $9. Okay, now back to DC. All right, Wonder Woman 3 gone, dead. No more Wonder Woman 3. Now,
Disappointment.
believe the rumors, the lackluster performance by Wonder Woman 1984 and the critical bashing and also the fan bashing of that film.
Well, that film was horrible.
So, I mean, I, for one, was a big fan of the first one. The second one, not so much. For some reason, DC fails in creating villains, and it's just, but that's besides the point. Okay, there's rumors that Patty Jenkins, the director of Wonder Woman 3, along with Jeff Johns, went into James Gunn's office and said, and they handed him the script, and he was like, no way. This is not our, this
Vision.
is within our vision. or something. I don't want to quote it, but something on those lines.
I heard it was a heated exchange.
Yeah. So he says no, she says no. Then there's a room. Then there was rumors that she was asked to rewrite it, and she said, "Fuck no." Well, I mean, not like that exactly, but you know what I mean.
I don't
And
think I'm paraphrasing that far.
so, yeah, and that's gone. And we also, on the heels of HBO and Warner Discovery paying a shit ton of money for Henry Cavill to come back as Superman and do the expensive reshoots on Black Adam, which, by the way, was not the hit they expected. Okay.
And that was like the Rock's special request.
But The Rock plays the same fucking character in every role. And
yeah, but if he plays it well,
but does he really play it well?
Did Schwarzenegger play any role different?
Yes.
Wait, I take it back. I take it back. Actually, he has. Jingle All the Way. If you're in the season.
Did we know Sylvester Stallone? His first big movie. He was nominated for an Academy Award.
Rocky?
Yes.
No awards for Cobra, huh?
No awards.
All right, we'll
get into that. But talking about Cobra was a well-received and huge spec script in Hollywood for years. It was like a big deal when it was on the sheets, But hey, whatever. So now they're saying after Aquaman, which by the way, reports came in today that it went over its original $205 million budget. And it's delayed. It was supposed to come out this month. And you know what's coming out? Next Christmas. Wah, wah. Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Sounds like an Uncharted video game, sounds like. All right. So please. And check this out. James Gunn and Safran are stuck with it because it's a legacy title. The higher ups, the powers that be on Warner Discovery, which when does Discovery get all this money to buy, this stuff? But that's besides the point.
Ancient aliens.
You know what? Probably those damn aliens. Sorry, guys. So yeah. And now James Gunn is like, you know what? And the report came in yesterday, was like, you know what? He's not my Superman. We have him in mind for a different role, but he will not be Superman. But he is writing a Superman film at a certain point in Superman's life in the past.
So Henry better go back to The Witcher.
Oh no, he turned that one down. That's it. He left it with.
Well, I know he better go back to Witcher and say, hey.
And they gave it to the Hemsworth, not the Thor. No, the other one.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry on all accounts.
Liam, I think, right? Liam's Hemsworth. Not to be confused.
Wasn't she married? He married to what's her name?
Yes, to
second.
To what's her face?
Hannah.
Yeah. Put my hands up in my song and then fly away.
Into diapers and a binky at the award show.
Yes. So, and Warner Discovery was trying to tell James Gunn that, you know what, you have to make the Batman the latest one that came out part of his project, and he's like, no, it's something different. So,
do they know what they did in bringing James Gunn over? Now, I believe in him. So I believe in his vision. I believe his body of work thus far is the right call. It's where this is going. You're crossing your fingers, hoping it will be worth it.
I mean, look. Bottom line, if you let the man or you leave the man do what he has to do creatively and you don't meddle and interfere, he should succeed. Now, that being said, if you meddle and you try to do all these things and undercut him, it's not going to work.
Well, let me ask you this question. Any of the digging around, Is Zack Snyder coming back in all of this?
No, as far as I know, nothing has been said. I mean, my thing is that I think they want to scrub that whole thing away. The whole
I
thought of
wonder how they're going to introduce
Man
this.
of
Just
Steel 2 done, obviously. Just Justice League, whatever, whatever, it's done. So now if he comes back to direct something that James Gunn, whatever, that's something else. I mean, money talks, bullshit walks. But as far as his world, it's done, man. Now,
it's too bad because the Snyderverse was really, I thought,
really what?
better than the previous projects.
I mean, that's like saying Burger King is better than, you know, Kennedy Fried Chicken.
Oh, don't you go there. Don't you go there because their chicken is damn good.
But are the burgers good?
I don't go to Kennedy's to get a burger.
Thus my point. Okay. So, yeah.
We are not paid by in any way, means, shape, or form by Kennedy's Fried Chicken. Total disclaimer, but god damn it, their chicken and fries. Their fries rock. Okay, sorry. Just moving on. That with a malt beverage, I mean, it's
Okay, make sure you take your heart pill right afterwards.
doesn't it come with a Lipitor?
Yeah, it comes with a little, what they call them, the sign, not the cyanide cabinet, it's the nitroglycerin. There you go. So yeah, all right.
Different country is that.
As far as the Flash movie is concerned, with all the trouble that Ezra Miller has had, I think the movie
really trouble
done in the can. But when's it coming out? I mean, it's supposed to come out next year sometime, but
no, I think he's on the next episode of Orange is the New Black.
We can't say that. I mean, that would be insulting.
Okay, sorry.
But
you know what I mean.
Yes, I know what you mean. And Batman Beyond, which was planned with Michael Keaton, playing Batman, older Batman, that's also been canceled. So, what else is new? Right. And in somewhat good news or possible good news, the rumor is that Moa is, after this movie, he's out as Aquaman, but he could play Lobo.
I believe rumor was that he was on his hands and knees begging to play the role.
So
professing that this is his lifelong, the number one comic book hero fan.
You know what? Now I'm going to go on my tangent, on my rant. All right.
Wait, you've been holding back thus far.
Now, when I was a freaking kid, I was a geek and I picked up and I read comic books. I drew comic books. I lived and breathed comic books. Hell, Now, that being said, no one else read comic books. I mean, at least in my class, maybe one or two of us, and we were ostracized for being geeks for whatever. So I tell me that Jason Momoa, okay, the dude, come on, read comic books as a kid and read Lobo and all that stuff.
Wait a minute, I think you're being way judgmental. Keanu Reeves,
it's not
read comic books.
It's not only him; it's everybody. Oh, Keanu Reeves read comic books.
Don't you dare doubt Keanu
Reeves. Norman Reedus. Did you know Wesley Snipes wrote a comic book? Do you think Wesley fucking Snipes, Blade himself, read comics?
Why not?
Come on, man. He was too busy. Too busy, if you know what I mean. Doing other things. With the fairer sex. Nonetheless, so bottom line, DC is in somewhat of a pickle, okay? From the high that you had James Gunn and Mr. Safran there, James Gunn being the creator and Safran being the financial, everything was gonna go up and do well. But now you have the Warner Discovery numbnuts trying to cut them off at every angle. At least what it seems. So what to do? So is it a positive that James Gunn taking over, or would they continue to hemorrhage money as they were doing before? I
The
mean,
question is now,
yeah, yeah,
okay,
you have a fucking Joker movie coming out, a part two of Joker movie, which you recasted Harley Quinn, which is fine, but with freaking Lady Gaga. The only reason I accept this is because it's a musical, a freaking musical. Come on, man. And then what? You're gonna reboot Batman every freaking 3, 4 years? We get it. We know. We understand. We get it. His family died in the alley. He became a bat. Ooh, scary bat. Ooh, brooding. Ooh, I'm Batman. Ooh, emo. Black nail polish. I get it. Okay. And
and the voice.
whatever. I'm Batman. And I'm a Batman fan. Can't you tell? But all right, in all seriousness, what do you think is going to happen? Or, I mean, obviously, it can't be a good thing. Is Gal Gadot going to continue as Wonder Woman?
I, I mean, if you're doing a hard reboot, how do you not? Which I can't see anybody else stepping to role just figuratively. She assumes the role from an aesthetic point of view. Perfect.
I mean, these movies are not easy to make. You're talking about if you announce a movie now, you got to go into pre-production. You're talking about at least a 2 to 3 year process before one film comes out. And
Script, casting,
we're talking about
location,
a brand new
story.
franchise. If you have it already, it might take you could do it in 2 years. But conservative mean oh
I beg to differ because Marvel has shown that you could do it on many different fronts if you had the whole plan. Doesn't mean it's a great plan.
it's the plan. They have the skeleton intact. All they have is just to plug in the freaking. All you gotta do is plug in the pieces. But the whole structure is already built. It's the Marvel machine, which we're gonna get to that in a couple minutes here. We're just gonna finish up
So,
with TV first.
so it looks like James Gunn was put as captain of the boat, but now he's being told you can't have a rudder, you can't have sails, you're gonna have to fish for your own food, and you can't have X, Y, and Z. Good luck.
Like Brian Dable.
In the famous words of the Pope Francesa, a rudderless ship.
So I mean, I don't know. I mean, I almost feel
Bottom
bad.
line, the future does not look good right now.
Yes, exactly. There you go. The current or the present look of the DCEU is not positive, but they have someone in charge who knows what he's doing. And if given the right time and ability to do it, he'll get it done.
Does Peacemaker stay? Because he was actually pretty good.
I mean, I've heard. No, I mean, it was renewed, but I've heard nothing. I've heard nothing else. I don't even know if they filmed it. I don't even know.
Well, there you go, guys. Have it with the first half of our double feature today. DC is hitting the hard reset, basically letting everybody go, and I assume either recruiting younger, inexpensive cast, and if there's anything from James Gunn's past, it's going to be very edgy.
Edgy's good. Edgy's fine.
Which is why I'll take it. In Gunn, I trust because his body of work has been very, very good. So I take it. If it has to happen, and maybe let's look at it from another angle. Maybe it does have to happen because it's not like the present state of affairs was that good. No,
Yeah, but
in
you
those.
have, but you had all the Batman, all the DC fans talking about, oh, DC won the year
No, no. For what? For Batman?
for Batman, for freaking for Black Adam, for DC Super Pets.
No, no, not for Black Adam.
I mean,
No,
so
Black Adam ended up being a huge disappointment. If anything, Batman was the only thing DC had that. Well, and the Peacemaker series. Is that this year? That's a series goes.
well, I mean, don't forget, Marvel has not had their head up until Wakanda. I mean, some might question that Phase Four has been an utter disaster.
All right, so let's move into now.
Not me, but some might say.
Hold on, Wakanda. It's been a financial success, but it has been very polarizing
For certain things within the story.
So you can't change the fact that somebody bought a ticket and gave them money, but you can't get away from the fact that you read reviews. It's very polarizing. A lot of people come away with going, "Oh wow, it was theatrically very very impressive, this and that," and a lot of people come out going, "Man, there's a lot of social political issues here that kind of undoes everything they've been doing to this point."
But I mean, what do you expect was going to happen? I mean,
well, I'll put it this way: if you made such an effort to be inclusive, diversity, open-minded, even to change certain characters as far as the traditional
Wakanda was never. The whole point of Killmonger, what Killmonger wanted to do, he wanted to say, screw everybody else. We have all the power.
No, I get that. Here's where I think there was a missed opportunity. Where if you want to go through the traditional canon, which Marvel Universe has shown they're willing to change traditional canon so that it kind of fits into more of today's relevant society. Why maintain, I'm going to say, two native peoples from underrepresented countries or geographical areas to go against each other?
Well,
this could have been changed. And I'm sorry, but
where Rocka fails, sorry to say.
But it's also like
the true villain is not, Tequatan. I forgot the name, but it's not Namor. No, Namor. He's not the real villain. So if
I'm just saying it's polarizing in the sense that I think it's a missed opportunity. They could have reworked the script to be a little more less divisive.
They could have, but at the same time, I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of there's some people who would agree with you. I saw some videos and some real like.
And if you want to get away from the social political background chatter, you have built him up into be this almost super than anybody else so far on Earth superhero, and then he takes a defeat really, underwhelmingly.
I mean, what are you talking about? Black Panther himself? You're talking about?
No, I'm talking about him losing at the end.
Oh, I mean,
where it really cuts on the knees and the ankles of you building him up.
Spoilers. The reason why
by this point people have watched, a billion people watched.
The more lost, but he didn't lose. First of all, Black Panther, whoever who is the Black Panther, is arguably the most powerful person on the planet. Okay,
right.
Already, Shuri knew how to eliminate or how to turn the tide against Namor in the sense that she could keep him away from water.
She used the brain.
In turn, dried him up so he was weaker. And he can be out of the water, but he needs water after a while to, replenish.
Keep the strength up.
Exactly. So, and even then, she barely beat him. She cut one of his wings, and so he couldn't fly. It was all very strategic.
All right. Sorry to get away too much from the main topic, but what we're talking about is the similar vein, not as intense or drastic. Marvel, it has been leaked out by many sources. Marvel is hitting a modification button as opposed to a hard reset button. In doing so, they have indirectly professed they dropped the ball.
Well, there's been reports that internal sources within Disney and or Marvel have said that the way Phase 4 is going or went and into Phase 5 and Phase 6 is that it may have been, and I hate to use this word, but it may have been a bit too woke, according to sources.
I believe most of that feedback stems from a lot of hate mail.
Yeah.
And the hate mail is a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag of those who hate the woke culture, as also it includes a lot of people who are canon sticklers, who were not completely happy with what they interpret as large modifications, including gender, race, ethnicity.
We had a whole thing on this, diversity and everything. I'm a stickler for continuity, but understand, people. You need to let me say it as succinctly as possible. You need to understand that the comic books and the movies are two separate entities. They may be similar, but they are not equal. Okay? The movies are based on the comics, not on the idea. Heck, Namor is not Namor Mackenzie. Okay? Namor is not from Atlantis. You know his history and you know Namor Mackenzie's history. Okay? The origins of a lot of characters are similar, but they're not the same. The power level, you could just tell within the power level of these characters, they're not the same as their comic book counterparts. Heck, people are glazing over. I mentioned this before. People are glazing over the fact that they do believe in one of the early movies, they actually called the Asgardians aliens and not gods. People seem to forget that.
Meanwhile, they are gods.
Yeah, and all of a sudden people ignore that and oh yeah, they're gods. What?
No, I totally get it, and I think they did a poor job in being more forthright with that. Like, I think if they just come out and said that more stringently, like, hey guys, we're making a fantasy movie based on the comic books. We're not making a movie on the comic book. Then I think it would be less failure to reach expectations. But with that said, a lot of these reports are leaked out, as opposed to James Gunn and DC, where they're outright coming out unabashed.
Confirmed now. The Marvel reports are now. Do you think that anything or a lot of this has to do with the return of Bob Iger?
Of course.
Okay. Now we know that Bob Iger is an older guy, and he actually was one of the more successful CEOs in the history of Walt Disney. Okay. So, and do you think that he came in and said, you know what? I think we're going a little too much. Let's bring it back a bit. We're getting a lot of blowback from a lot of fans, a lot of critics, well, maybe not critics, but a lot of people. Maybe we're being a little too much. Maybe we should bring it back. It'll be a little more conservative. I'm not saying he said
What?
that, but I'm.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not one to criticize the message, okay? Because as you and I both said in our previous podcast when PBJ joined us, we're all for diversity, inclusion, everybody moving up together, and everybody being integrated. With that said, I think what would be very, very, very welcoming to me is to have a movie that does all that without you saying it. So without you having to make an actual socio-political statement. That because I think that robs from it somewhat, because then you're changing focus into what the message could be instead of we're already past that. These are the actors and choices and people who are representing the characters, and we're already going into it without making it the deal.
Right.
Because then you're already skipping a whole point where you're already into the subliminal mind of audience members to accept it instead of forcing it down their throat. And then in that sense, if you produce a well-made picture without overly stating the reason for it, you're not going to have a lot of people's back up. And if it's very good, I think most people, I give them some credit, I could be wrong, will be indirectly accepting who's on stage, what they're about, the performance and the plot without getting too brought back into diverse parts of society, this is why we're watching movies, to escape that. But once you make that a little bit more of the norm, instead of making a stamp and saying it, I think that's one aspect that you're not polarizing the audience. You know what I mean? And I hate to say it, but you go back to Winter Soldier and the Falcon. The big speech he made at the end, which was good. And everything that would throughout the whole thing. Sometimes the message gets lost when you say it every episode, every line.
No, I get it. I mean, look.
Same thing we said with Miss Marvel, where I've heard this from other people, and it being withstanding without other things involved, I by and large appreciated that whole series. But I understand when people's expectations wasn't so much a history lesson on India, Pakistan division, and British rule, when you just really want to focus on a teenager in America from a multicultural background trying to find her way. Where you don't want to lose that one central story with the other stuff.
This is the issue here, at least what I think. Marvel and your boy Kevin Feige did a great job early on of picking and choosing their directors and giving them the Marvel way. You have to do this the Marvel way. If not, you can leave in the nicest way possible. But yeah, Phase 4, they brought in a lot of different creators and different directors and people with different visions, which is fine. That's great. But Marvel has a system, has a way of doing things. And Phase 4 strayed way too much. First of all, the fact that they did the whole multiverse, they're trying to do the multiverse is insane. At this point in time, that's something that even well-seasoned Marvel fans or comic fans don't even get. So you're trying to explain to someone who just, a little while ago found out that, there's talking raccoons running around and trees. You're going to tell them that there's 1,000 different Captain Americas or however there is. You're going to tell them that it's
you don't have continuity.
It's something that is so geeky in the best way, but also It's not anymore.
Because the average fan needs to connect and they need a continuity, they need a timeline. Otherwise, it just doesn't make sense. And when you have things that you start doubting and you start less believing in and you start getting less interested in, you lose your audience.
Yeah, the beauty of Marvel, the fact that everything was continuity, everything was connected, and now everything is still connected, but the timeline is still.
Very
We
disconnected.
don't know. We don't know what. Okay, we all know that Infinity War both shot us 5 years into the future. Okay, we all know that. So all these shows that are coming up and they're going on, what happened? So, all right, where was Moon Knight during the snap? What was Miss Marvel during the snap? We all know Hawkeye, Kate Bishop. She was there with the Chitauri and all that bullshit.
Hulk
But
leaves at Sokovia and he comes back before the blimp and he has a kid, 20 something years old.
well, we all know what happened. But she.
Well, I mean, galaxy time and everything. It you know what they needed to do earlier instead of later is have like Wasp and the Quantum Mania at least provide a little clarity as far as what's going on.
Well, that's the thing. They got too big. They said, "Oh, a couple shows they worked." You know what? Damn, it's more cost
Well,
effective to make a 6 episode show
you know what?
and waste 80 million instead of doing a movie that's gonna cost us freaking 6 months and gonna cost us 300 million. There you go. Boom, boom, boom.
Spider-Man No Way Home should have came out first, followed by Strange in the Multiverse, so that we have a little bit of idea, and Loki at the same time have an idea of, okay, from this point forward, things will be a little funky and wonky and out of whack because of this multiverse thing. But no, it wasn't. It wasn't introduced that way.
You started off, you had Spider-Man, you had the multiverse. Then okay, so what did the multiverse? So what messed up the multiverse? Was it WandaVision and Wanda herself? Was it Peter and Doctor Strange? Was it
Was it another? Was it evil Doctor Strange? Was it
when he was messing around with all that? Was it in Loki? Well, because we all know that within Loki, Kang, he felt it when the whole book erased, when whatever the next event, whatever the hell happened, but we still don't know what happened. We all know in WandaVision when she became a Scarlet Witch, that did everything. So which one is it? Which one is it? And now, how can you jump? And then I get it. Things need to be made, needs time, this, that, and the other thing. So you have all these shows, and you have Quantum Mania now coming out in what, February? I think, or March.
I hope.
February or March. And then you wait, then the continuation to that. It's the Kang Dynasty after that, which is, I think, 2 years away. So everything in the meantime, in between of that, where does it fall in the continuity? Where does it fall in the timeline?
And I get what they were doing. So they're breeding a bunch of young kids to be the new Young Avengers, and they're going to save the day. And you're building up the Kang Dynasty to go through all multiverse back and forth in time, which inevitably is going to introduce the Fantastic Four. There's a lot. Now, I think, which in a way, if you look at it, it's actually a good thing, which means Feige and company weren't too big on themselves to not listen to a lot of the fans' very, very, logical criticism.
Dude, they did a whole show on it. They spent millions of dollars and did a whole show on it to try to prove people wrong. She-Hulk. So.
And I think the resounding hate mail from She-Hulk was not to be ignored.
Yeah.
Clearly, because of their pivot.
I mean, look at this. Reports are that Kang within the King Dynasty is supposed to kill everybody. Okay. And then supposedly in Secret Wars, every character from every single Marvel movie ever created is supposed to show up.
The grand battle royale on the planet.
Are you kidding me? I mean, you're gonna have 100 actors. I don't even know people more than that.
Well, it's going to be a cameo fest.
Obviously, they're gonna go in there, have their 2, 3 lines, collect their $10 million, and freaking on their way. So then, what do? How do you fix it? I think they've gone too far. They just got to keep going.
They're going to keep going, but they're probably going to pivot and modify certain things.
You can't reboot, especially now with DC's failure or potential failure. You can't reboot it. You got to
It's going to be the field of dreams of Marvel superheroes.
You gotta just. And I would say this. How about this? If they want to, once you, and again, if you do that, you're gonna reset everything again, and I'll be too old.
Which is why you know what? No, they're too deep into it. Unlike DC, DC is just hitting a hard reset. But if you think about it, it's not like they went that far anyway. Marvel has gone too deep into it. I think if I were to guess, they're going to trim the fat on things they expect to get backlash on and just kind of pare it down to be a little more linear. That's what I suspect. And like you said, as we alluded to, from what rumors have spread about different higher ups coming down now and making a little bit more of a stink of the direction, they're going to probably pare down to the, unfortunately, depends on how you look at it, the diversity part, the inclusion part, the political social statement part, right, and just maybe base it more on action and direction and more of the scope of the what's at stake in the universe.
Let's see, but I mean, you're ready to the cat out of the bag. If you're gonna put the cat back in the bag, I mean, the cat's gonna break the bag. Just saying, but I mean,
well, this is what happens when you take on so much water. The Titanic will either split in half, break, and fall down, or you find a way to pump out the water, patch up the hole, and get back on your merry way.
So what do you think is going to happen?
I think we're going to end up seeing a little more, I don't want to say watered down, but a little more.
A little course correct?
Yeah, a little more sterilized.
Don't like that word.
I know, but it's the only way I could think of from where they've already been going the last 2 years.
Yeah, the way I see it, I mean, I think we're not.
Well, here's something different than most people.
We're not going to see crazy stories or crazy characters. I think
I actually applauded them.
Yeah,
I actually applauded them for branching out. I'm not one of those that gets upset.
Branch out, man. Go crazy.
Yeah, I'm not that upset. I'm not at all upset with breaking out of canon, Shang-Chi, and trying new things. I'm just upset with the quality. I'm not upset with the direction. I'm upset sometimes with the quality, where it sometimes it doesn't feel like it's the same big bang that I'm kind of used to.
Because you have creators who have great ideas, but they're not. And I hate to say this. I sound like I'm gatekeeping or being an elitist here, but they're not comic book fans.
Look, they had huge success with the first Iron Man, right?
Feige comes in and he has to somehow grab all that and kind of. And I get it. And I think he kind of lost his way a little bit during.
They did lose his way. This is where you try new things, but the first Iron Man, even the first Captain America, it was great casting. It was some edgy and very entertaining script and dialogue, and you had great CGI, right? And then some things along the way, Shang-Chi, it's like dropping the ball. So much potential. You didn't hit the home run. You didn't go all the way. You didn't wow you.
Right.
Eternals should have been a series, not a movie. And that's where you sat there after holding your pee for 3 hours going, what the hell did I just watch?
Yeah.
This is what I mean by dropping the ball. You know, you know, Strange was great. Homecoming was awesome, but then there's a few series and like the Werewolf. I loved it. Standalone, not part of the universe. I'm good with it. I'm good with it. Even with the timeline, no blimp, nothing. I love it. It's fine. Leave it as is. Miss Marvel. I just think it was poorly advertised.
I think Ms. Marvel kind of fell apart somewhere in the middle. I mean, you didn't have a concrete villain, and it kind of showed. I loved everything about her and her being a fish out of water, and
the culture and everything was great, but
her
as a
culture
plot,
and everything that was cool. I
as
mean,
a superhero plot by itself, it did lack a little depth.
Yeah,
there was no depth to it. When you go to like Black Widow, that was underwhelming.
Moon Knight.
Moon Knight, I thought was excellent. Again, if it was marketed a different way, where you don't have to overly state it, but tell them this is a nice excerpt of a certain superhero all by himself, knowing going in, you're not going to see Thor, you're not going to see anybody else.
You're bringing us Moon Knight.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. And then, again, not everything hit, but it's not terrible. What's lacking is you need to bring them all together soon, because somebody who's a fringe fan didn't even watch a minute of Miss Marvel and Moon Knight. Maybe got turned off.
A lot of my friends who, I mean, hey, you know people as well who they're fans and they've seen movies, but they haven't seen shows because there's just too many.
Exactly, it's oversaturated.
What's going on? I'm kind of happy for this little pause we have until Quantumania. Even though I loved the holiday special, but I'm good that we got nothing until then. Let it rest.
Well, you've heard this and you've seen this meme too, and I think there's merit to it. Where like, oh God, another superhero movie. Listen, if they don't take a lesson, this is when you're milking the cow too much. There's gonna be no milk left.
I see. There, disagree with you because it's gonna come to the point. If not, the point's already here that it's not. Oh, what else superhero movie? No, the superhero movie will be a genre. Like you have a horror movie, you have a romantic comedy, you have a musical, you have a drama, you have an action film, you have a superhero movie. With at that point, heck, hip hop wasn't. It wasn't anything until now. It is
mainstream.
Exactly.
Yes and no. Look at Walking Dead.
No, that's not. That's not.
And I hate them for what they've done to the zombie genre.
They haven't done much to the zombie genre, to be honest.
What they've done to it.
They've done nothing.
They've soap operized it.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
to the point that if I see another zombie movie out there, as soon as I see, there's a relationship or these two lovers, I'm turning it off. I'm not interested.
I mean, after a while, I just didn't even see The Walking Dead as a zombie show. I just saw it as a survivor type, survival type thing.
Yeah, the community and some shit like that.
With zombies and people who whatever. Well, I mean, we could talk about this forever and keep going.
To wrap it up, DC is hitting the hard reset for valid reasons, and new helm, new directive, new people in charge, and we hope, I don't know, what is this, DC 5.0 is better than 4.0 and predecessors. We have Marvel. We have Marvel who's doing a course correction, perfectly minted by you, a course correction on where they're going from this point forward.
I think
they're not in bad shape.
Very subtle. It's not going to be big. It's going to be subtle.
They're not in bad shape, but it's interesting for this information to be leaked out, for especially a very tight ship that Marvel is. And they probably ruffled a few people the wrong way, and they're disgruntled and they walk away. It's still going strong. evidenced by Wakanda's numbers and stuff. So I can't wait to see how things play out. But we just wanted to bring to you guys the current events of things that are happening in both DC universe and the Marvel universe. We hope that if you have any information to donate, add to it, if you have your own opinions, please don't hesitate to hit us up. Let us know what's going on, and we'll definitely talk about it.
As usual, please like, comment, subscribe. Thank you all who have done it. Like and subscribe, and that's it. I'm Izzy.
I'm Rocker. Carry on, people. Remember, always be vigilant and save the whales.
Take care, everybody.